It's Laura from North Mississippi.
Spears.
From Windmill Farms, and we are leaving Tractor Supply. I don't know if you caught the sign there at the very beginning of the video because I know it was in the background.
Do you really want me to talk? Can they hear me this time?
They can hear you.
Okay, because usually they can't.
They can hear you.
Happy Monday. I guess it is Monday, right?
Last time I checked.
It's last time you checked. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Ours was, okay. We had my youngest son had his family over for Thanksgiving dinner yesterday, so that was fun. We'll have the 3-year-old tomorrow. That's about it. Nothing else is going on. And our guest this evening.
Well, there's going to be a lot going on tomorrow.
We have Anthony.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's what I said. We have a 3-year-old tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to get our beauty sleep. No, not beauty sleep. I have to get some sleep. And, oh, you like that music, do you, Cajun Homesteader? Not much else to say about us. Our guest tonight, Windmill Farm. We met them at Deep South Homestead. Because Grizz is the one that made Smudge's leather collar and his leash. Put Smudge into the collar. That's beautiful, beautiful work. So if you want any leather work, they're the ones to contact. What are you staring at me for?
I'm listening. I'm trying to pick up here on anything.
Okay, you have the floor now.
I have the floor.
You have the floor.
Well,
It's your turn.
Take
it over there, Daryl.
I don't know that I've ever known anybody named Cat before.
Well, if their name is Catherine, it could be a nickname.
I suppose that's possible.
Well, yeah, it's possible.
But that's not her name.
I know that's not a name.
So it's not a nickname.
Well,
so it's just Cat.
There's a lot of people on YouTube that don't use their real name.
I don't know if
They're
this is a
incognito.
YouTube name. We'll have to find out if this is a YouTube-only name.
See, we were stupid when we started. We didn't realize that. We could have been incognito all these years. People know us now.
You mean you could have been Cat?
I could have been something.
Oh,
Mud.
Mud? Okay. Well,
Yeah, haha, Patty, wait a minute. Let me put my feet up on the bottom of my chair.
all right. Well, hey, we've got, they're stuck over here in the green room.
I'll get them out of the green room.
Okay, here they are.
Yeah, the green rooms means it's our kitchen.
Say,
It's the only green room we have.
say hello to everybody.
The grizzly cat.
How y'all doing tonight?
Oh.
Okay, that's a great way to start this evening off. I'm going to tell you right now, I needed that laugh. Thank y'all for getting that going.
Samson Farms, the video is inverted compared to normal. Nathan, I have no idea what you're talking about. Do you?
No.
One never knows about Nathan.
Nathan, what do you mean the video's inverted?
That's scary. Yeah, you're
Well,
right.
I can tell you looking from the Skype to the computer,
Oh, you're
we're
backwards?
backwards.
Yeah.
Yes, that you'll see that, but
I just assumed that was the program. That's why I didn't say anything.
Yeah, you're right, Nathan. I am ma to a lot of the homesteaders now, or Nana.
wait a minute.
Hey, everybody.
Well, who says we're
Hey, Mac
backwards?
Daddy.
Well, he just said inverted. I don't know if that means we're backwards.
Does that mean we're upside down?
I hope not, man. I'd suffocate. And we'll let that comment just stay there.
All right. Grizz, Cat, hurry up, speak up here. The hole is getting deep.
Yep.
I was fixing to say, we're just enjoying the entertainment ourselves. We're just sitting back enjoying listening to y'all talk. So
Yeah, you're right. Southern Blessed Home. They are neighbors of yours. They are from Mississippi. Oh, about 45 minutes away. That's not far at all.
no,
No, it's really not.
we've actually went and visited one other couple of times, and
Yeah.
I'm actually doing some leather work for Mac's son right now.
Cool.
Well, Nathan, I do move the cameras around from time to time. That's what he's seeing.
Hey, Patty.
Hey, Patty.
Because your camera's over here instead of over there.
But it was over there last week.
It was,
Was
but
he not paying
he
attention?
wasn't paying attention last week.
Nathan.
Okay, but anyway.
Nathan, it's all right. You in the same neighborhood with me. We got this going on. It's okay.
My
No one ever said Nathan was right or left.
Oh, I obviously don't know what to say. I'm curious.
Well, y'all were talking about Catherine's name being Cat. Would you like to explain to them why you're nicknamed Cat?
Well, actually, homesteaders are the only ones who call me Cat.
Oh, so it is a YouTube thing.
Yes and no. If you've watched our videos, every now and then we talk about a medieval reenactment that we do. And in the medieval reenactment, my name is Catherine. It's the name that I chose for myself for the medieval reenactment. I don't go by Cat in the medieval reenactment because there are so many cats. So I'm Catherine, and it distinguishes me.
Cool.
He thinks it's too long, so he calls me Cat. That, and he says I'm a cat trapped in a human's body. So
This is true.
kind of like he's a grizzly bear trapped in a human's body.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So says Hulk Smash.
Hulk Smash, yes.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Hulk Smash works. All you gotta do is just smash it, and it takes care of itself. I'm just saying.
There we go.
That is his general answer to everything. Hulk Smash or Hulk Shoot.
That one's even better.
But yes, it actually, we kind of laugh because we live in the town that I grew up in. And bless my mama's heart, she's one of those people that knows everybody. So every now and then we'll come across somebody who will recognize me and they'll go, "Oh, hi, Laura Beth." And he looks at them like they're crazy because he's like, her name is just Laura, not Laura Beth. And it's like, no, when I was little, when I was younger, everybody called me Laura Beth because we're from the South and you have two names.
Yep.
It just
The only time I heard two names is when I was getting called out for something bad. If you heard Larry Wayne, you knew I was getting in trouble.
Yep.
So
Yep. My kids were the same way.
Of course, there's always his other nickname, his family nickname.
Yeah. See, I was known in my town for many, many years as Scooter. So,
We'll accuse Tannerite work well also.
Yes, Nathan. Tannerite works very well. But anyway, the reason I got the nickname Scooter was because I was given that shortly after I was born. I was born premature, and I was only 2 pounds 7 ounces.
Oh my!
And back then they didn't have premature diapers. They didn't have all the stuff they have with preemies like they do nowadays.
Yep.
And the Catholic hospital that they just happened to take my mom to when she went into labor, the poor nurses there in the NICU would it was back when you had cloth diapers, so they would try to pin them on me the best they could. And then I would scoot out of the diapers, and I'd be a little naked thing in there in the incubator. So they'd say, well, ain't he just a Scooter? So from that point on, kind of Scooter stuck. But, at 6'1" and at my heaviest, almost 400 pounds, I didn't think Scooter was quite the name to go with at that point. I'm just saying.
Well, you match my youngest son pretty much, because he was also preemie, and they had Pampers because he's only 33, so Pampers were already out. But I had to order them special from Johnson & Johnson, and the little girls could play with them with their doll babies. That's how tiny these things were. So,
dang, that is small then.
So yeah, I know exactly what your mom went through.
So that's why Sherry likes you so much. You remind her of her youngest son.
Yeah,
cool.
And Sean is 6'2", and he's over 300. So yeah, that's why I said I can relate to that. He was my smallest, and now he's my largest.
Now, let's see, I'm down from 400 pounds down to 265 pounds,
Awesome.
So I've lost a little bit since then. So
good for you. That way your wife gets to have you around for a little bit longer.
Well, not only that, but I can get out of bed without my knees killing me, so that's always a good thing too.
Yes.
So
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And by the way, to everybody out there in video land, we didn't die. We just had a lot of stuff with our life going on.
Life, that's a good way to put it.
It's been life, that's for sure. We've lost, in the intro that Daryl did for us, you've seen our big turkey. If anybody watched our earliest videos, you know that our Tom that we had, he got eaten. He got eaten by a bobcat in the middle of the day.
And it wasn't even Thanksgiving.
And it wasn't even Thanksgiving.
I know, bobcat just didn't have any manners.
Nope, he didn't. What can you expect from a northern bobcat? I'm just saying. But anyway.
Damn Yankees.
I'm innocent.
Darn Yankees.
Darn Yankees are innocent.
Nathan might know a little bit of this. All my quail got attacked by raccoons, and I've got 13 cats on the property, so I can't put out even the live foot trap ones that they're called coon cuffs that a coon actually has to put their hand down in. I can't put them out there because cats will trip them and catch themselves in it. So I can't catch my cats and catch the coons. So I lost over 200 quail this year. So yeah, we've had a few things go back and forth on us and
medical issues.
You guys have a dog too, don't you, or no?
Yes, we have 2 dogs.
Yeah.
But I have a big black dog and a big white dog, and they're kind of funny because I call them yin and yang.
But they're not guarding your livestock.
No, unfortunately, Grizzly always stayed home, and then once Bear grew up, Bear is a great peer, and even though we had him in a fence, he didn't care. It wasn't enough space. So being a peer, he ran off, and Grizz would be a good boy and stay home, but finally Bear corrupted him and convinced him to leave with him.
And being 2 unfixed male dogs, they
yeah.
decided that they were going to roam. Once they got it in their blood to roam, they roamed. They come home about every 3rd day and stay for a day or 2, and then they go back out again.
Yeah.
So
we should be getting them fixed though, beginning of the year, and we're hoping that will chill them out and keep them home.
Do they have gigolos in the dog world?
I don't know, but it sounds like teenagers.
I don't know if they would qualify as gigolos or as Johns.
How old are they?
Bear is a little over a year, maybe.
Bear's 13 months old right now.
Oh, so
And Grizz is about a year and a half.
so they're
Oh
not,
yeah, they're still teenagers.
they're not even
Yeah.
they're not even teenagers yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, see,
Especially not. Well, Grizz is half German Shepherd, half Border Collie Blue Heeler mix. I believe I was told that he was a working dog with an attitude.
And you know what, though? I will say this. The goats that the Broussards have of ours, when we first brought them home, we opened up the back of the trailer, and that dog rounded them goats up and pushed them back into the back of the
With no
fence
training
with no
whatsoever.
training whatsoever, and stood at the gate until we come and close the gate for the goat enclosure. So yeah, he did us well. So I'll take Grizz and Bear, and with them together, they're called Grizzly Bear, the yin yang grizzly bear.
Yeah.
So, hey, Naked Gardener. Hey, Tinker's wife. Hey, everybody. There's too many people going through.
I was gonna say we're trying to keep up with the comments over here.
good luck.
Are you succeeding?
Yeah, that's all we can see, other than what we have here in the Skype feed. So,
Yep.
but
Folks, just make sure you put your questions in all caps. Somebody will see it. Not guarantee we will, but
Hi,
somebody
Life
will.
with Linda. How are you this evening? All right, so tell us a little bit more about your crazy trip delivering some goats to Broussard Homestead, where you wound up what? You moved in with them for a while.
it
Pretty
seems
much.
about that way.
Yeah. I think we lived there for a little while. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't help that I made a Dutch pancake and it upset Brett, so we had to stay and make another one.
This is true. Yeah, we got the goats and got them loaded up and got them all the way down there. And then there was a few things that Brett was wanting to work on inside the goat enclosure itself. So
Yeah.
I was there. He had the tools. I didn't see no reason why we couldn't help them out a little bit and work on some of the stuff and stay there and help them with some of their chores that they needed done. And we also brought Abby some chickens too.
Yeah, and the last I heard, they're the only chickens that she is not afraid of. Someone is asking for a link to our channel. Can
That's-
Cherokee or one of the mods throw that
Yep,
up, please?
that's exactly what I'm having Nathan do.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Thank you, Nathan.
Legacy Home and Garden, at present moment, we are about to get back onto a
Regular
weekly,
schedule.
and at least one video a week schedule. Unfortunately, I've had some health problems. I got to dodge a lovely little health bullet called a hysterectomy.
At her young age.
Yes,
Yeah.
at 34, it was suggested that I get a hysterectomy, even though I've had no children of my own. If you have a queasy stomach, you may want to tune out for the next 5 minutes, because I'm just going to give everybody the background. And I'm a nurse by trade, so this sort of stuff doesn't bother me.
You have been forewarned. I'm just telling you.
There's your disclaimer.
Hey, we're homesteaders here in this group. We can handle anything.
That's the general idea, at least.
Yep.
I have been having some issues with bleeding. I have never in my entire life had a regular period or cycle. Ladies, if any of you have dealt with infertility, you'll understand some of the terminology I'm about to use. Rather than having a normal cycle, I actually bled from March until the end of October. The only thing that made me stop bleeding was I had a procedure called a DNC with a hysteroscopy. And that just means they go in, they look inside my uterus, and they basically scrape everything out. It's an outpatient surgical procedure. That is what actually made me stop bleeding, and we are now seeing a fertility specialist in Memphis. We tried to handle this ourselves, find some natural remedies. Unfortunately, I just have too many medical issues that are not letting us do that. So I get to go get stuck a lot and tested a lot. And but we're going to.
Well, we dodged the cancer, so that
we dodged the cancer. All my biopsies came back negative because that's what they were really concerned when they found out that I'd been bleeding for 6 months.
Yeah, that's a big plus.
Yes, so that's been the major reason why y'all haven't seen any videos is we've been trying to get me fixed.
I was fixing to say between going and the days she wasn't feeling good, and we were just trying to do it the best way we could and take care of it ourselves. And until we found out more information, we really weren't going to let anybody in on it.
Yeah.
I know it seemed like we dropped off the face of the earth, and I'm sorry about that. That wasn't our intention. We just had a lot on our plate at the time between losing livestock, and having failures on the farm, and having the situation in our life with health issues with her. So between the two, and me trying to keep up with my leather work orders and stuff, life. That's it. That's all I can say. Life.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, well let's talk about the leather work here. I'm sure that you can maybe share some of this with everybody in the channel here. You have a Etsy store, or you have some other source that you sell through, or are you?
I sell mainly through my Facebook page. I used to have a website, but after doing a cost analysis on my costs going out compared to costs coming in from customers, it was deemed that I was going out about $200 a year compared to only getting one order per year off of my actual website. So I do everything off of Facebook. After the first year, I'm thinking about going back to Etsy, but Etsy really kind of messed things up about 1.5 years, 2 years ago when they started letting people that were not doing their own products to start putting products up there from China and from other places. Really hurt the people such as myself that do everything themselves and do everything, as close to being 100% done in home as possible. I don't tan my own leather, of course. I get that from Tandy Leather, or I get it from several other leather companies. But actually, right now, I've got 12 different orders in on holsters and sheets that I'm trying to get done right now.
So what's your favorite thing to make with your leather?
I think, well, I'll be quite honest with you, it's anything that the customer loves.
Okay.
Well, what I mean by that is as a, as an artist, I see all my flaws that happen in anything that I do, regardless of how well it looks to everybody else. I know the little small flaws that's in it. I love that look when I give someone a product, whether it's a holster, whether it's a journal book to write in, or
a dog collar,
like y'all got. And when I hear people tell me that, man, they love it, they appreciate it, it's beautiful, whatever the accolades that they throw out there, that's my favorite thing to make. I love customers that are receptive to what I make them and get to them. I've had some customers that brought the product back and made me eat my, sole off of my boot, so to speak, getting things done. But at the same time, that's the way I do my business. I try to do my best to back up my product 100% to the best of my ability. That even includes replacing a wallet one time 3 times because the person's dog kept chewing the corner off of it because it was a puppy and it loved the taste of the leather.
Yeah, I kind of stepped in on that one and told him the 4th one he'd have to pay for. But I'm more I guess I'm the business manager.
Yes.
Because where he'll be like, oh yeah, I can fix that for you. It's no problem. It's under the warranty. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, she's definitely changed the way that I do my business. Before, I kind of let a lot of the customers kind of abuse me. And if anybody out there's ever done custom stuff, they know what I'm talking about. Because we all go through it as business owners at one time or another, where we try our best to satisfy our customers, no ifs, no ands, no buts, whatsoever. And, I had a few people that kind of really stuck it to me. Actually, after the first of the year, we're going to have to start going to taking 0.5% deposit on my leather because I've had people back out of doing abiding to their end of the contract.
That stinks when people do that.
Well, especially when I'm not taking any money up front, and it's not a leather holster or a wallet that I can turn around and sell. It's something that I'm actually putting people's name on, or I'm putting something very specific for them.
Custom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then they don't pick it up. I've got a whole table full of stuff that I take to events and just lay out because it's stuff that I can't sell. It's got individual names on it.
We had some of it at Deep South last year.
Yeah, I just can't see you selling a smudge collar to somebody else.
Well, I don't know. Smudge has a big enough following out there that we might actually have someone who might actually want to own the smudge collars. I think that might actually sell.
Yeah, you got it. You know, and I thought about bracelets. It's funny because I thought about that not that long ago. Before I even realized we were having you on, I thought, you know what, that may not be a bad idea.
There you go.
Yeah, we can do that.
That can happen. I can make one up, maybe send it to y'all and see what y'all think about it. So.
Yeah.
And the Naked Gardener, you did say that correctly. It is skin tan hide. That's Tom Orr you're thinking about on Mountain Men. He happens to be probably our favorite character on that show.
Yep. Now I do tan hides, but I tan the hides that I catch on my trap line during the fall. But I don't tan the leather that I use for my leather business itself.
Well, for those that didn't make it to Deep South Homestead Gathering this past year, we did. And like I said, I had them custom make a collar and a leash for Smudge. Now that's what, 2 inches, inch and a half wide, you think?
Inch and a quarter.
Inch and a quarter? I mean, this isn't a little measly kitty cat collar that Daryl's holding it up. And his collar is the same width, and it has his name on it.
And you know, if we still had kids, this could also double as a.
Not quite.
Oh.
Actually, it works really well on kids if you have to use it. Just say,
well, yeah,
I've been told by other people,
or husbands.
Just to you know, hold,
or husbands.
Just to hold on to them. I wasn't taking any kind of.
What do you think, ladies? Husbands?
But no, this is. But this is quite heavy duty.
Yeah.
This is quite heavy duty.
And I wasn't sure about the collar, but when I put it on, I mean, he has plenty of room, so I just love it. That thing is going to last forever.
And I like the D-ring that you put in the handle. That's kind of makes for a unique thing. You can just tie them out real quick to a chain or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, not only that, you can actually take the leash and hook the leash back to that D-ring, and that way you can carry it kind of like crossbody. And
that's true.
If you need to let him run like at the dog park, you're not having to just carry the leash in your hand. You can just have it around you.
I was fixing to say that actually came from me making leashes and dog collars for bird hunters. They wanted to be able to control their dogs when they first get them out of the truck, but then when they get out to the field to release them, they do that. Then they take the collar, leak it back to itself. I mean, the leash, leak it back to itself, and put it over their arm and over their head, and that allows them to carry it.
Yeah.
So.
However, I will.
Naturally, NC or North Carolina says, just snap that bad boy. It'll put fear of God in any kid.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I bet I could do that at least once here.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, but Grizz,
Sydney?
but Grizz, I will tell you that the catch on this that I have here for Smudge. This is the weakest link.
Yeah, we had him break a chain.
I had him.
Where were we? Jason's.
At Jason's, yeah.
We were at Jason's.
We were down at Big Bear Homestead, and we had him tied up outside the camper. And the hook that I had on the end of the chain there was rated at 175 pounds.
Well, now, if y'all do come to Deep South, I can get up with y'all even if I'm not going to be there. I'll be right down the road there in Wiggins, Mississippi. I can actually bring you one that was made for doing the dogos. If anybody's hunted hogs or know about the dogo Argentinian dogs, they are huge, and I've actually got some clips that are made for them. I could actually trade that out and put you one of those on there.
But no, it's a beautiful piece of work.
Yeah.
So what I'm alluding to here to everybody in the chat is Larry does absolutely beautiful work, And if you want any kind of custom leather work done, get a hold of him.
Yes,
He can probably do it.
Somebody asked if they could see the collar. I think the collar's still in the camper.
Yeah, I think we're not going to be able to grab that real quickly, but anyway, that's.
Sydney said it scared him when you brought that up.
All right, Kat's going to step out real quick. Since somebody asked something about that, I've actually got several holsters that I've got to send out first thing in the morning. So she's going to step out and pick one of them out. Peaceful Inspirations, you say you have a purse-sized Bible that the leather cover is coming apart. Could you recover? If you could actually send me some pictures of that so I can see what you're talking about, I probably can make it work. If not, completely recover it totally for you. I would just have to see what you're working with, okay? If somebody could put up my email, which is 2pawstradingcompany@gmail.com. And that's all spelt out. And the company is only CO. Whoever's going to type that thing. No.
Not like that, huh?
No, 2Paws Trading CO. Sorry, I missed.
Okay, gotcha. No problem.
Anyway, if y'all can see that a little bit there, this is one of the holsters that I'm sending out. As you see the edges, how they're done. This is actually wet molded for a Beretta 81. So let me back off. So it's actually fit in there to where when you put the gun in there, you can actually hold this holster upside down, shake it, and that gun's not going to come out. But here's the kicker. When you put your belt through here, the gun pops out once you get it to come out a little bit. It just pops. You'll actually hear it make an audible pop as it comes out. That's how I make all my holsters. But that's what I've been doing here lately when I've not been with her going to the doctor and stuff, is trying to get some of these holster orders knocked out. Apparently this year that seems to be on everybody's Christmas list. So...
Well, and that was going to be the next thing I wanted to talk about here a little bit. I purposely did not incorporate some of that stuff into the promo.
Yeah, for obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons, because of where we're at. But I know that you do some shooting. You do just a lot of, I'm not going to say gun work, but custom holster work and different things like that for folks. And I find it very interesting. What got you started into the custom leather working? I mean, is this something you did you maybe picked up as a kid, or is this?
It really was. It started off in the Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, doing the little leather kits that they had us doing then. And then I had an uncle who was doing a little bit of leather work, nothing like what I do now. And he seen how much I liked it, so he gave me his kit. He said, here, you're enjoying it. You're getting more out of it than I am. Here's your kit. And that was when I was 13 years old. And off and on over the years, I just kept making. And at first, I stayed with the Tandy kits. If everybody's ever been to Tandy Leather or seen one of their catalogs or been on their internet, they make these kits. The kits are very wonderful because you don't even need to tool them. You can get them, lace them together, and they work. But they're very generic. So I got to a point to where the generic was fine, but I wanted to do something different, or they didn't have what I needed. So I just started. Of course, back then we didn't have YouTube like we do now, where you can learn anything in the world off of. So then I just started getting some books and started learning and reading from Stolman, which is the godfather of leather crafting in America for the most part, and went from there. And it just slowly over the time grew into something I liked more and more, and I was getting better with each project. I tell people all the time when I teach them leather work, and they're like, well, I'm making mistakes. I'm like, I've made more mistakes than you're ever going to make in your life. To me, that's how you get to be where you are as a master in anything that you do, is you're going to make mistakes. Just like on our homestead this fall, when we've lost several animals to predators because of the way the situation at the house was. We're going to have mistakes. We're going to have problems, but that's how you learn from it. You back up and you punt, and you make sure you don't make them same mistakes again. So, but as far as the gunsmithing and that, I've always been into. My father was a police officer. So from a very young age, one of the things that got me started was he would take me to the range and put the pistol in my hand, a revolver that he used, and I would shoot. And I was actually such a good shot at an early age with a revolver. Several of their, you know how, I don't know if they do it where you are from, but where we were from in Texas, some of the local police departments would put on these weekend festivals where you kind of got to come out, meet the police officers, do some things, meet and greet. But one of the things they had was they had a controlled shoot, and people had to pay $5 to be in the controlled shoot. And so many of the adults would pay for me to shoot because they couldn't believe that at 15 yards I was putting all the rounds out of that Smith & Wesson Model 66 357 inside of a nickel-sized target. So they would pay for me to shoot over and over and over again, and that just turned into just a love affair for collecting the firearms that I do over the years.
Well, and that just made you a better shot, too.
Tell me about it. Hey, look, I'll take practice all day long as someone else is paying for it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, somebody else is.
So do you load your own shells, or?
I do reload. I've done that, but some of the stuff I don't reload because it's actually just cheaper to buy. Kind of like 9mm or 223 or 556. It's just easier to go buy it in bulk because it's just so much cheaper than what it takes me to reload it.
Right.
I do reload special rounds for those that I use for specific reasons.
Understand. Been there, done that.
Naked Gardener, are you from Texas?
Yes, he is.
Who, Naked Gardener?
Yeah, you said Texas.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, that's where I grew up at, was Texas. That's where my roots was at. That's where I was born at, and that's where I came from. So I just got transplanted to Mississippi.
Okay, so what other crafts do you do besides the leather work?
I also do blacksmithing. I also weave native baskets from kudzu and wisteria vines. I do stone work, where you, like some of the Viking ruin stones that were left, like the gelling stone. If anybody wants to look up and know what I'm talking about, you can look up, called the gelling stone. It's where the Vikings left different marks, different places that they went. I do stone work like that. Of course, I grow my own stuff and do trapping during the wintertime. Going back to the shooting, I have a lot of people come down to my property and I teach them how to properly run through the course. And the reason I make people run through my course or go as fast as they possibly can, because it gets your heart rate up, it gets your blood pressure up, and it helps you learn to stabilize yourself and shoot consistently under a stressful environment, so that if something was to happen in the real world, you're less likely to shoot Jane that is walking in the back of the store as compared to the person who is trying to shoot you or do harm to you. So I take people out, show them the proper procedures by which to go by to learn how to do that. And that's one reason you see some of my shooting videos. So.
Okay, and define your blacksmithing trade. I have the idea here that you're not talking about shoeing horses. You're talking about something else.
Yes, I'm not a farrier.
Farriers are different.
Farriers.
Yep.
I could make you a horseshoe, but to me, a farrier is also a foot specialist. That ain't me. I'm not
podiatrists for horses.
Pretty much. No, my blacksmithing is more orientated toward medieval stuff, but also doing what's called early colonial blacksmithing for like door hardware, dinner bells, things like that, much more the camping stuff, the much more stuff that you would use like with also like Confederate reenactment and that kind of stuff.
And like maybe the big ornate gate hinges and clasps. Yes. And things like that.
Yes, sir.
So is this also something that is this more of a hobby in, or do you actually work at that as a side hustle?
I do that as a side hustle as well, along with making my custom knives that I make.
So it sounds to me like what you really need to have is you need to have a catalog that you can pass out to people. You need a business card that folds out like an accordion.
I don't know about all that, but yes, I'm one of those that I was poor enough in my life that if I wanted anything, I had to do it myself. Didn't have the ability to go buy things. And I learned that once you learn one trick, like with leatherworking, the way you're using the stamping tool and you're using the hammer, over and over and over doing it. The hammer routine that I did in leatherworking when I got ready to go to blacksmithing really helped me very much because I already had the hammer control, which is really hard for some people to get.
Right.
And I already had that. So it just made my transition into that just a little bit easier. And then that transition led to other things that I do. I even do things like embroidery.
Well, a lot of that, too, comes from the fact that we do the medieval reenactment group. So it really opens up what we do. Like, I do a little bit of woodworking. The Naked Gardener is volunteering to come work on our farm for a little bit. I think he wants you to teach him stuff.
Come on.
I told him that was fine, but we were going to put him to work.
Look, I'm up for teaching anybody anything. I don't care if it's learning leather work, learning blacksmithing, intensive raised bed gardening, bees. It makes no difference. Whatever I'm doing at the time, if somebody wants to come by the house and learn from it, by all means. If you ask anybody in the medieval reenactment that we do, I love to teach. It's just, I love it. I love seeing that look on someone's face when they do something the first time by themselves and they get it and they love it and they enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
That to me, that is when it's like it brings just a big old smile to my big face, and I'm happy.
Well, Grizz, we just had somebody else come into the chat here that's also quite a craftsman.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know him or not, but that's BC Truck. Are you familiar with him?
I am not.
No,
BC Truck, rebuild, repair, repurpose.
Yep.
This man
His name is Brad.
Yeah, his name is Brad, and he makes unbelievable knives.
Ooh, me and him might actually have to get together because I make good knives too. So.
Well, I had an idea, and if I'm not mistaken, I think Brad also does a little bit of leather work as far as making
the handles,
making sheaths and stuff
sheaths,
for those knives.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But check him out, BC Truck. He's in the chat there, and
I'll have to go and friend him. Will you do that while we're doing this, baby?
Yeah.
We're actually adding him on the friends list now, so I can go later and see some more of his stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, Samson Farm, that is the SCA that we're a member of. It's a Society of Creative Anachronism. And an anachronism.
He gets to hit people with sticks. It's his anger management program.
It is that now. That's part of what we were going to discuss tonight. I guess I can go ahead and use that as a primo into it.
I didn't know we were talking about hitting people with sticks tonight. Did you?
No, we were using leashes a little bit.
Yeah, I thought we were just into the leather.
But actually, that's the way she picked me up to go to the SCA. Which I was going through a divorce from my first wife, and it wasn't a bad divorce.
So you're telling me Kat came and brought this piece of leather and just tied you up and drug you off. Is that what you're saying?
That's a totally another show, Daryl. That's a
totally
another show.
Okay. All right.
No, not exactly.
But, yeah, she came up to me and she goes, she knew I was having a bad time, and she goes, I got the perfect hobby for you. And I said, what's that? And she goes, you get to hit people with sticks and you don't go to jail, and then you get to eat meat and drink meat afterwards. And I was like, okay, sign me up. I'm ready for this. But what we're going to discuss about that is we're actually in January.
Come to Gulf Wars.
Yes, come to Gulf Wars and play with us. Starting in January, we're going to be having another channel that's going to be nothing but about us in the SCA and following us. We're actually belted in the SCA, which means we're on a path to peerage, which is kind of...
He has what's called a green belt. He's an apprentice. It means he likes to make pretty things. I have a yellow belt. It means I'm a protege. I'm on the service pass. Well, all that means is I like to run around with my hair on fire.
But talking about the SCA, one of the things I love to do in the SCA, it comes from me, the big grizzly-looking thing is...
That just lends new meaning to redhead, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait a minute. Running around with your hair on fire. You want to explain that?
Okay. Take Gulf Wars, for example. Nathan, have you ever actually been to Gulf Wars?
He said he has helm and armor, so I'm expecting him.
Yeah, but he may not have made it to war. Not our war, at least.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we say Gulf Wars, this is what I'm probably going to be at, which was why I'm not going to be able to make Deep South.
Wait, stop just a second. Stop just a second. Now, is this a D&D game that you play on the computer, or what are you talking about here?
No.
D&D in real life, basically.
Oh, real life D&D. Okay.
It's short of the elves, fairies, trolls.
I was fixing to say, the difference is with D&D, you have your fairy tale creatures. That's what you have at Renaissance festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, in our society, we do everything as close to historically accurate as we possibly can, short of endangering our lives.
Okay.
So, like when I do my Viking stuff, there's some paints that had I used them in period had lead and other arsenic materials in them. I can't use them. That's dangerous to me. But everything else that I use when I do my paints is made from crushed up lapis lazuli, or it's made up from madder root, or it's made up from things of that nature. So, I'm sorry you never got just Lily Wars. Lilies is a good one. Sorry.
We haven't made the lilies. We want to make lilies.
Yes, we want to make lilies, but we do everything to the most accurate that we possibly can at that time period. Like I played 1015 to 1035, which is right before the Norman conquest on the Isle of Britannica. I actually live in Viking-controlled York. I actually went and stole her from the Normans. Sorry. But yes, it's a fun game. It's with us that started off with D&D back in the late 70s and early 80s. It was a real life thing for us to where we can actually beat one another. But I actually do medieval manuscripts to the original manner that they did during the time period, so it looks like the same book of hours and things of that nature.
Such as the Book of Kells, if you don't understand when we say illuminated manuscripts, something like the Book of Kells or
Catherine of Cleve's Book of Hours.
Yeah, we are in Mississippi, BC Truck.
North Mississippi at that. We're in Oxford, home of Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Hotty toddy. Sorry, had to throw that out there.
Well, BC Truck used to be in Louisiana.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And he no longer is. I'm not going to say where he is. He can say that if he wants, but you're in the same state as he is, so.
Well, that makes it easy to figure out.
Well.
What? Hold on. Do you mean where we are? Do you mean where we are currently, or
yes,
where we
yes.
live?
No, where you are currently. And that's why I said that.
Cool.
So.
Well, we come out here on a pretty regular basis, so.
Texas.
Yeah, I have family that lives in the Houston area, and then I have family that live just northwest of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So we're in this area, and I have family that live in San Antonio too. So
all over the place.
So anyway, very interesting. Didn't know we were getting into medieval.
That's cool. Reenactment.
Warcraft thing here or whatever. Good heavens.
Sherry, I'll send you a link to a YouTube video later.
Okay.
Or I may try to throw it up in the chat.
Okay.
Everybody can watch it later, but
Okay.
it gives a really good kind of description of what we're talking about.
Awesome.
Texas has great big steaks like Australia. Okay.
yes, we do, and we have great beef brisket barbecue.
That reminds me, I want some burn-ins.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, and Brad is saying that he's, I don't know, Wascom?
Mm-hmm.
Good night, Naked Gardener.
And his son's in Houston, so I'm not sure where Wascom is, but that's where he's at. Anyway.
Do you know where Wascom is?
No, off the top of my head, I don't.
Okay.
Texas is like kind of big. I'm just saying.
It's its own country. Yeah, Texas is its own country.
Well, anybody I've ever met from Texas seems to think it's a pretty big country.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, we've never been in it.
Nope. Haven't been that far yet.
Well, when you come in on I-10 in
I have.
Beaumont, it's 873 miles all the way to El Paso. So that's, that covers most 2 to 3 states for most everybody else. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It is big. There's no question about it. So, And it's very interesting how, at least from my perspective, the difference in the weather across the state. I mean, it has virtually everything from being flooded out from the hurricanes to the mountaintop snow areas, and unless I'm thinking something wrong.
Yeah, Brad says he drove a truck for
No,
25
that's
years.
pretty much Texas.
Yeah.
You can have, I mean, you got every kind of terrain here too, from everything from the East Woods, piney woods of East Texas, to the coastal floodplains, to desert, to highland plateau desert, to highland scrub, to mountains around El Paso. So yeah, you kind of have a little bit of everything.
Hey, Big Bear.
Hey, Big Bear.
Okay, so let's get back to Kat here for just a minute. You mentioned you do some woodworking. So what do you do there? Are you a hand craftsman type person? You do lathe work or building cabinets, or?
I've done a little bit of lathe work. Most of what I do is pretty much just putting things together. There's what we called a Viking 6-board chest.
Mm-hmm.
It's a piece that actually came out of an archaeological dig, and I've made several of those. About the only real hand stuff I do is actually nail binding needles. They're only about yay big. But I spin yarn. I do the nail binding, which is like it's
medieval knitting.
Medieval knitting, yeah. That's the best way to describe it, really, that people are going to understand.
Do you make your own spinning wheels?
I have made my own spindles. I have not made a spinning wheel. That's a lot of balance that you have to worry about, and I'm not quite there yet.
And she doesn't have to worry about it. She has 2 great walking wheels, antique walking wheels that were given to her, so she doesn't have to worry about it.
Well, now, one was my great-grandmother's, and it was her grandmother's before her, so, I mean,
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you got 2 antique walking wheels. That's her other thing, is antiques.
Yes, I love antiques. I got that from my parents, very honestly.
Okay, so what other hobbies do you have besides wood?
There's the fiber, because that's the nail binding, the spinning. I sew, I do embroidery.
She's real good at sewing. I like that she just kind of went right over that sewing right there. Y'all, she made my kilt for me to get married in. She's made multiple clothes over the years, full outfits for people over the years. So her sewing ain't just a little bit of something she does. Sewing's a whole heck of a lot of what she does.
Well, it sounds like she may produce some of this material you use in your gaming sessions.
Yes.
Yeah, you could say that. And where he does the painting and the illuminations, I draw the pretty letters, which is called calligraphy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He doesn't have the patience. And I don't have the patience to paint, so it works.
And remember when we were talking earlier, I said Hulk smash? That's how I feel about writing the letters on there. Hulk smash.
Yeah. So it works out. Everybody that knows us in the SCA, they sort of laugh. They say we're a package deal. If you get a scroll that's made by us, I probably did the writing. He probably did the painting. It's just generally how things work out.
So give us a little bit of background. Did you all grow up on a farm outside of town, living in the country and so forth? Or are you city folks converted, or?
Go ahead.
I grew up with horses. My dad did a little bit of gardening when I was younger. Now, I am a picky eater to the extreme. Animals process my vegetables for me, therefore I don't have to eat vegetables. that's the logic I use.
I've never heard of that one
because
before.
I do not eat anything that is green. I don't eat tomatoes that aren't processed because I can't handle the acid. We're actually going to grow white tomatoes this year to see if I can actually handle eating the white tomatoes. The yellows weren't too bad. I actually can handle the yellows a little bit. But that was what I grew up doing, was horses and that sort of thing. And unfortunately, my mother is city through and through. And it kind of killed my dad's dream of ever having the ranch and farm that he wanted. But it's always been my dream to have a farm and be as self-sufficient as possible.
Well, wait a minute. How did you have horses then? You didn't have them in the city, certainly.
No, we've always. I'll put it to you this way. My mother and I had a conversation when we were in the process of working on building up the homestead, where she asked me why couldn't I just be content to live on the land. She wants a country existence
without the
the actual country living.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Sure.
When I was little, she was fine with the horses, but she didn't do anything with them. It was all my dad, and it was all me. Like her and my brother didn't have anything to do with the horses. And even now, because she doesn't have that homesteader mindset, she doesn't understand that I can't just live on 70 acres and not actually put at least some of that 70 acres to work producing for us. So that's how we had horses when I was younger, with my mother being the way she is.
And Grizz, what about you?
Well, as I said, I came from Texas. The first part of my life when I was younger, my dad was a police officer, so we were in the city all the time. But in 1986, we moved to Mississippi, and when we did that, I got a rude awakening. It was called living in rural Mississippi with less than 1,000 people in the town that we moved to. I was used to living in towns with 50, 60, 75,000 people minimum. So, yes, I got a rude awakening when I was 16 years old. But at that point in time, my grandmother, if you've heard me talk in any of my videos about farming and about doing the different stuff I do, whether it's making jellies or whatever, is she put that seed in me to get going in what we now call a homestead. She called it living. She didn't know there was no thing called homesteading. To her, growing your own vegetables, making all your own stuff, that was just part of being a country person and living in the country. But she instilled that small seed in me and got me going with it. Mind you, sometimes it was kicking and crying and squalling and beating and everything else, because when you're 16, you don't want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning just to go outside to start hoeing the garden, because you want to try to get it done before it gets 110 degrees in the afternoon. So, but that's where I started learning all my stuff. And then my Uncle Clovis, through our marriage, he had cows, Black Angus, and I started learning about the livestock from him. And it kind of just grew from there for me.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I did see in a video, though, that you have some Indian heritage?
I do. My great-grandmother is 100% Choctaw Indian. And that made my grandfather half and my dad quarter, and I'm eighth. On my mother's side of the family, where they came from out of Texas, Oklahoma, and some of them places, they have Blackfoot, Crow, and Flathead. Someone once time said Sioux. We never could prove it, so I don't ever say it. But the other ones we can prove, because we actually have the people that actually have their tribal cards. That when I got old enough to start researching how the Choctaw made things, how the Choctaw lived in the woods and that kind of stuff, that really got me going in my learning how to live out of the woods, how to forage for mushrooms, how to make my dyes from acorns and stuff like that, and start learning about the medicines that were used by the Choctaw for, sore teeth or whatever it might be, fever or whatever. So,
well, I'll tell you what. Do you realize how late it is already?
Yeah.
I mean, things have just been flying by here, and we haven't gotten a trivia question out yet. So I think we're going to do the trivia just a little bit differently tonight. We're gonna do the first question, and then we'll just go ahead and do the second one. That sound okay?
Works for us.
Yep, that sounds like it might be winter. So, give you guys to I'll let you take a quick break here, get a glass of water or something if you like, and we'll get Smudge up here to explain our trivia game. And here he is.
Well, hi folks. It's trivia time again, and we have to have some rules for this, so they are as follows. Number 1, you can only win once every 4 weeks. Number 2, You must be the first person to answer the question correctly in the chat window as it appears embedded on the screen here. Your chat window may have a different order. And number 3, you have to send an email to twofamilyhomestead@gmail.com. Send us your mailing address so we know where to send your winnings. Good luck.
Okay, and let me just reiterate here, in case anybody's new in the chat and has not visited us while we've played one of our trivia games. The official order of the chat is embedded in the screen in front of you. That's what we have to go by. The order of the chat on your computer, your phone, your tablet, your TV set, whatever you might be watching this on, is probably in a different order. So this is the official order, what you see embedded in the screen. And tonight's first question. Do you have the answers ready?
Yeah.
So we're ready? All right. Tonight's first question is, what is the name of our Tom turkey? Now, this is our guest asking the questions. What is the name of our Tom turkey? And no, it's not Leroy Jenkins. Farmer Brad, no, it's not Thanksgiving and it's not George.
Now, Big Bear, I like that comment. Leroy Jenkins. I was actually there that day in WoW when Leroy Jenkins happened. I was actually in that party.
Paul
And no, that's not the
Tom
correct
Hanks.
name.
It's not Tim McGee. Nope.
Wow, nobody watched our early videos because they would know because I had him on nearly every video.
Ah,
Okay, that's just funny. Can I answer the question?
It was dinner for somebody, but
Yeah, not us.
Fred, I like Fred. That's nice. No, it wasn't Fred.
It wasn't Thanksgiving.
It wasn't Gobbles.
Cubes.
This isn't NCIS.
I was just going to say, it's not NCIS, Jason.
Sweet Maya. Oh, Lord.
You know, he is a Marine. I'm just saying. Oh, wait a minute. Zoe.
Why not?
oh my gosh.
Billy Bob. There you go. Too bad that ain't the right answer.
I watched him at crap. I can't remember.
I wonder if that's Mac.
That's Mac. Oh, Maddie's on under hers.
Oh, is she? Blue hair. I wonder about Jason.
Oh.
Want to give him a hint?
Yeah, if you
What is it?
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you give him a hint. It's your question.
What is a immature Tom? Apparently we ain't got no turkey hunters in here.
Apparently not.
Speaking of which, I just took my first fall turkey. We actually opened up a fall turkey season this year, and I was actually able to take my first fall turkey.
Ooh, we got turkey breast when we get home.
We do. I'm going to make some turkey jerky out of part of that. I like Jason watching.
Oh,
Almost there, Big Bear.
You're so close, Jason. Very close, y'all. Oh, you are so close. Baby Tom. I'm sorry, but that's kind of hilarious.
Uh,
Well, I'm looking at this picture of him. He was such a pretty boy, too.
he was.
Well, let's see. Samson Farm, Big Bear, and Chipper's family are right there on the cusp of
In
it.
Dave's backyard.
Oh,
Should-
yes, and
should we
Dave's
just give
backyard.
it- Should we just give it to Jason?
Should we give it to him?
Well,
Are you saying he's very close?
he's there, but not quite. Quite a few of them are there, but not quite.
I really feel like nobody has watched any of the videos.
Yeah, because our early videos, he was in nearly every video, and I was always talking about him.
That's how he ended up on the banner, was because he was always there.
He was like my dog. He walked around the yard following me. Hey, can we do the trivia?
Yeah,
The answer we're looking for has 2 words.
Yes, there's another hint. 2 words. Hey, she moved mountains. I didn't see a lot of these people come in. I was talking too much earlier.
It's alright, baby. You better hurry up, Nathan.
I like that. I'm rewatching them now. Bubba Turkey.
Turkey. Jake Turkey, Jake Tom, Big Jake. No, Big Jake probably is what he would have been nicknamed once he grew up all the way.
I was going to say, he just got to the point that he was having like 3/4 inch spurs and like a 6-inch beard when he got killed. I'm going to grab a drink. Hold on.
Has anybody had half the name?
Yeah.
Big Bear got half of the name.
Yeah.
He was the first one to get half the name.
All right.
White meat.
Okay. All right. And he's completely doing it. So we'll just the name is. Yeah, we're going to award this to Jason because he was the first one to have the name. But the name is Jake.
That's it. Jake was my Tom that would follow me around.
Yep, like a puppy.
So.
I like this. That was fun.
So Jason, you just needed to stutter.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
All right. So
Okay.
let's go ahead and ask the next question. See how long this one takes. All right. And so for the second question is, what kind of rabbits do we raise?
Yes, Jason, really. Well, she actually did a whole video where she's out there grooming these things. Wow, we're not even getting one hit on this.
I've always been first.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Florida?
Bugs Bunny Wabbits. No,
It's
it's not New Zealand.
We did have some lops
Rustic Traditions.
Rustic Traditions got it.
Okay.
Because if we waited for English, we were going to be here all night.
I was happy they got that one. See, shows you how many people watch your videos compared to mine. Maybe I just need to get out of the video doing business and just let my wife do them all then. She's better looking than I am, that's for sure.
All right. So we'll get them back on the screen here. We got the phone line open if anybody would like to call in.
You call in?
Yeah. You forgot about that, didn't you?
I did.
So the numbers are scrolling across the top of the screen there, and of course you have to enter the 9-digit code in, put you in a room that I can answer, and we'll get you hooked up on the air here. So if you want to become internet famous, just dial that number. It's your nickel, folks.
Well, I'm glad y'all found them as quick as you did, Simply, Jan. Yeah, the couches and the chairs, the recliners have a tendency to eat them on a regular basis.
They sure do.
Yep.
Ahmed. Hey, we're going to have a talk with Ahmed.
One never knows.
You know, we might get a call about our extended car warranty. You know this, right?
One never knows. Although I will say that on this number, I have yet to receive any type of credit card calls, IRS scams, none of that stuff.
That's impressive.
All right.
Big bird.
So let's get back to everything you guys are doing here. What are your plans coming up for next year on your property? Gardening. What are you going to do?
I will probably be making a video here shortly showing you how we're planting her 6-row barley. That medieval reenactment that we do, she's actually going to be doing a, what would you call it? A test?
Yeah, we have part of what we do, we try to recreate things the best we can. So we're going to actually try to grow some barley, some wheat if I can find the right wheat, so that we can make beer and bread from them and actually have some food that they would have had. That's a whole nother, look, we already talked about the SCA for pretty much an hour, and we can keep on going about the SCA. We are looking at getting some more goats.
We're actually going to look at 2 farms this week while we're out here in Texas.
Yeah, we're thinking about switching gears. We had the Nigerian dwarfs, and we had always been told that they were a very calm breed. I don't know exactly what happened with ours, but we had very noisy ones, very needy ones. So we're going to go look at some Toggenburgs and see what they see kind of what their personalities are.
Okay, and we have a caller here.
I'm afraid. Very afraid.
Very afraid, huh? This is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
Hello. I would like to inform you that your Social Security number is threatening to be suspended due to illegal activity.
Does that mean we don't get to pay the bill anymore then, too?
No. You go into jail. You go into jail if you do not cooperate. My badge number is 12478942368273 Charlie.
Good answer, Devin.
You need to write that down.
Today, BR5.
And your case number is 1-786-534-227-88-96-42-18. We would like to know that your Social Security number has been involved in the distribution of Smarty candies, and it has happened in El Paso, Texas, Are you aware that your social security number was used to distribute Smarties?
It could have been in El Paso, Texas. My son's
Wait,
out
hold
there.
on. I was going to say, there's another Larry Collins out there. I think you've got the wrong one.
Yes, my son is out there, and that's another Larry Collins. You can call him. He's at Fort Bragg.
Ahmed,
Fort,
does he owe
Do you
on a
not?
student
Do you?
loan?
Do you or do you not distribute the Smartie candies?
I do not.
You do not. Well,
I do
that's not
not.
very good because we need them in Baghdad. We are so out of Smartie candies. We just love them over here, but we don't ever get them.
Well, we'll try to see what we can do. We'll see if we can put some on a couple of bombs and launch them to you.
Oh no, we got enough of those. We got bombs on donkeys, on goats, on cars, on my cousin Leroy Jenkins from the 5th time removed. He's been blown up so many times we stopped counting. He's been around so many bombs. If you break wind too loud, he gets very nervous. He fall on floor.
See, this is what happens when I work all the Mondays leading up to our thing is I have apparently missed all of this.
Oh,
Did you answer Devlin?
I did. I
Okay.
also answered somebody who said that I said their favorite word, beer.
Beer?
Yeah. Getting started on homesteading.
Oh, yeah. I'm making-
Actually, getting started on homesteading, don't we have a video of us brewing? Of us-
No.
Did we do one? Look, we can't even remember all the videos.
Yes, you did do a video on brewing.
Well, I know that
have
I
a
did a couple
question.
of
I have
videos
a
on
question.
equipment
Hello,
growing
this
up
is
through-
Ahmed here. I have a question. Ahmed is speaking. Hold on. I understand that you made a kilt.
Yes.
Can you make a turban big enough for bomb?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. I order off of, you got a website? I order. Call it the Boom Boom Special.
Okay, Ahmed,
Yes.
hold on for just a moment here. We have another caller. Please stand by.
What? No other
Bye,
color.
Ahmed.
Bye, man.
Hello, this is Daryl. Who's calling, please?
This is Daryl and Ahmed. Don't forget me.
No, you're still here, Ahmed. I just want to see who else is calling.
I know, but when you introduce, you got to say this is Daryl and Ahmed. You can't leave me out. I'm part 2.
This is Nathan with Sampson Farms, and I'm here to keep an eye on Ahmed.
Oh,
Okay, Ahmed, you're
there
being
go the neighborhood.
Ahmed, you're being watched.
oh my gosh.
There go the neighborhood. Neighborhood just went to the gutter.
Ahmed and Nathan.
Hey,
I've been there
Ahmed, I
before.
need you to stay online just a few more minutes. We're almost done with the trace, and I've got a special delivery, especially for you.
Your boom boom special.
Your boom boom special is on its way.
Oh, goody. All the smarty candies come from drone.
Oh.
This has gone south quickly. I can just say that.
Daryl's like, we're never having the moment again. Never.
Oh no, this is a weekly occurrence. Yeah, as soon as we open up the lines, we know the first caller.
Oh yeah, I love Two Family Show. I watch a Two Family Show, Jerry Springer and Maury. I just want to make sure I'm not the father.
Ahmed, you know, with as much depleted uranium as you have played with, you're not the father.
You never know. 72 virgins make it all better.
He had good friends, is what it was.
Broussards. Hey, Brett, welcome.
Hey!
Oh, now our neighborhood really went downhill. Some guy in the chat box. You know, I heard that guy that just everybody got excited about just coming in. That guy, I heard that he did not a nice thing.
Not a nice thing.
We're talking about the Department of the
No,
Navy,
not a
right?
nice thing.
Don't start.
Okay, Ahmed, I'll ask. What are you talking about?
Who
Oh,
us?
no, we can't talk about it on the air.
Then why'd you bring it up?
I'm just let everybody know he did not a nice thing. That's all I'm saying.
Broussard, Brett, he's talking about you, you know. Oh, Lord.
Shemu Mountains, he can do this in person too. It's really amazing.
I love everybody brings in the Leroy Jenkins. That's wow.
You can probably thank Daryl for that one with all his talk about gaming earlier.
That'll work.
So, Ahmed, is there anything new going on with you?
It depends on what your definition of new is. You know, I mean, we're not trying to be like Bill Clinton, what your definition of is. I'm just saying it really depends on what the definition of new. Like, the two little Ahmeds got new desks today.
Wow.
Yes, they're bomb making desks. Don't get too excited. There's one wrong move and boom, we got a new extension on the house.
Man.
Well,
Hey, you
I
said 2
heard,
weeks ago you didn't have a house. Got goats for days, but no buildings.
What did you say?
Hey,
I said,
man, I got a question for you. You don't understand redneck?
Apparently not, or he can't hear us, one of the two.
Ahmed,
I just trying to figure out who you're talking to. You talking to me or you talking to the ugly one?
You're the only Ahmed in the room.
I didn't hear Ahmed. All I heard was the other guy, and he was just mumble.
you
You
said
sound
a
like
couple
your
weeks
checks
ago
were signed by the Department of
that
the
y'all
Navy
didn't have
like
no
a Marine
buildings. How you
sounds.
got a house already? You said you had goats for days, but no building.
He's not paying you.
Now,
He ain't
that's
paying
the
me no
second time.
attention.
That is the second time you have interrupted the guest. Let the guest talk, Samson. Okay, before I cut off your hair.
I ain't got no hair.
Exactly. Okay, Mr. Guest. Ask your question to Ahmed again. For the third time.
You sound like your checks were signed by the Department of the Navy.
Marine Division.
That doesn't even deserve a comment. Not one little comment. Not one comment.
Hoorah, Marine.
Little taxi driver tried to make it okay because he signed paycheck. That don't no big deal. Hey, right.
Look,
Uber-
I had absolutely
Uber driver
no
gets
problem
paycheck
sitting
too.
a mile offshore and pressing a button. I was fine with that.
Oh, God.
He tells me all the time, you were nothing but a water taxi. I'm good with that.
Water taxis. That's the Navy. I'm sorry getting started on the homestead. This is the reason you should wear Depends when you come to this.
got that right.
It doesn't matter if you pee yourself. Aren't you grown? Go potty.
Bob, you should know what happens on Tuesday nights here.
Okay, everybody, let's just stop talking and let getting started on Homestead go change and her finish peeing, and so that way she does not miss anything. Okay, getting started. Go, hurry up. We wait on you.
It's a hymn. Ahmed, it's a hymn. Oh, Lord.
all righty then.
It only depends. Ahmed knows it depends on how long the fuse is.
Shorter the fuse, harder have to run.
Okay, let's get back to their property here just for a minute. We'll get back into something we can all discuss. So Grizz, how big is the property you guys have there?
We have a small 70-acre farm.
A small 70-acre.
You got to understand, we have farms around us in Mississippi where we're at that are 25, 30,000 acres. So when we say small 70-acre, we're saying it because we are very small compared to some of the farms that are surrounding us.
Though I will tell you all a story. As I said earlier, I'm a nurse by trade. I was an LPN for 12 years before I went back and got my RN. And right before we got married, I actually went and worked on a Jewish summer camp in Pennsylvania up in the Poconos. They all laughed because I'd say things like schlep and schmuck and olive, and they all thought that I was speaking Yiddish. So I'm working with a bunch of people who are from New York, New Jersey, places like that. And I said something about, I grew up on, it was originally 30 acres, and then my parents bought the back 40 and made the whole place 70 when I was a kid. I had to explain what an acre was. That this 10-acre camp we were sitting on was, a seventh of what I lived on at home. Of course, people who, their whole concept was, well, I live in a 900 square foot apartment, and that's huge for New York. And it's like, no, that's tiny.
Yeah, well, if you had 70 acres in New York, you would really have a big piece of property.
And you wouldn't need 72 virgins.
New York.
But yeah, we have, like I said, I consider it small. The biggest reason is out of our 70 acres, we only have probably 5.5, 6 acres that is open pasture. So we've got between 65 acres basically that is deep woods. If y'all have seen any of our videos, I show me going down into the woods. We got old hardwood. We actually have a set of woods that is kind of unique in that we have things growing down in our woods that just doesn't grow in any other part of the North Mississippi area. We actually have ginseng growing in our bottoms. We have St. John wort, and this is all stuff that grows there naturally. This is not stuff I put there. This is stuff that grows there naturally.
Awesome.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
Dutch Off-Grid Homestead is asking how many of that 70 acres is forest?
About 65.
60 to 65.
Yeah.
So do you have...
And that's big old growth oaks and stuff.
Well, except for the back 40. The back 40 is all planted pine.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, even treed hardwood, either softwood or hardwood acreage requires upkeep and maintenance. I mean, you do have to thin it out every so often and so on and so forth. So is that something, how long have you had this 70 acres? How long have you been there? What's it look like for you guys?
We have been there for going on three years now?
5 total, but 3 with just me and you.
Yeah, 3 with just him and me, and then we lived there with my parents for a couple of years before that. Now, my parents bought the original 30 acres when I was 9 years old, so that was 25 years ago. We live in the house that they built there on the property and that I basically grew up in. So, I'm sorry that your phone died, Maureen.
And Brett, we didn't put the ginseng in our bottom, just saying too.
But the original 30 acres is what the open pasture's on. The entirety of the 40 is planted pine. When my parents bought that 40 acres from Mr. and Mrs. Kelly, the people that owned the majority of the land around us, the agreement was that they could buy it if Mr. and Mrs. Kelly could harvest the timber off of it. So they harvested it, and then my parents went back and planted pine. So it's actually up to my mother to maintain the upkeep on the pine, not us. We actually rent the place from her. It's one reason why we have a little bit of we have some holdups with things that we can do because we have to go and we have to convince her, and then we have to convince my brother who lives in Texas.
Okay. So where your property is now, 70 acres. How far are you from town? I mean, let's say from the nearest grocery store. Is it like 10 miles? Is it 30 miles?
It's 14 miles from our front door, including the quarter mile of our driveway to the nearest Walmart.
Okay, hold on. We don't really measure in miles, we measure in minutes.
I was fixing to say, yeah.
And we're approximately 10 to 15 minutes, depending on which grocery store in town you want to go to. And whether it's a game weekend.
Wait a minute. 10 minutes, 14 miles. So you don't let any grass grow under your feet, do you?
No. I don't know a whole lot of homesteaders that let grass grow under their feet.
Well, I was just, if you were talking 14 miles and you do that in 10 minutes, you're scooting right along.
Oh, well, that's just us.
I have a tendency to put my foot in the gas and forget to pull it out until I'm where I need to be.
All right. So anyway,
she said, "How do we use your land?"
Right now, simply, Jan, we do have a small garden. The bulk of it at the present moment is rosemary and strawberries. Because despite the dogs deciding that the strawberry beds make great doggy beds, the strawberries are still flourishing.
They're still flourishing, but they're all squished down to the ground thanks to the big white dog that decided it needed to lay down in the strawberries.
He decided that made a great bed. We actually have got to expand the strawberry beds because the strawberries kind of took off.
Yeah, I went from less than 20 plants, I think 16 plants, to over 150 last year, and now I think the last time I tried to count, we're at about 400.
Something like that. We've got to split them up. They're all in one bed.
Two beds. That front bed and the back.
Oh, that's right, 2 beds. And we actually have planted some fruit trees there that we need to go check on when we get home.
They're doing fine.
Okay. I was going to say, I haven't been down there. You have.
Yep.
We have blueberries and blackberries. We have the raspberries.
We lost the Viking berries. They died. And then we have our grapevines and our muscadines and stuff there too. And then we have if you watch the video where we did the fencing, by the way, gentlemen, if you ever need a fence put in, this is your woman right here. She can run a fence just as quick as any man can. We put in a small pasture for a paddock for our bull, Don Bunnett. So.
Night, Marine.
Good night. Thank you for stopping in, Jason. But we got a small pasture for the bull to go in. So. Yeah.
And we're working on currently convincing my mom to let us get at least a cow to go with him.
And yes, Simply Jam, we do harvest all of these things off of the thing. I did not get to harvest my muscadines this year because the day that I got ready to do my muscadines, we had a big storm come in that night before.
Yeah.
And when I woke up the next morning, literally everything on the muscadines was on the ground. So I lost everything.
And they all needed like another week or so to really become complete.
I can't read that one.
You did a video with bow and arrow?
Yeah, the turkey that I took this year.
Oh, that's right. No, Dutch off-grid. That is the only bow and arrow one we have at the present moment. But we will probably be adding some.
I can add whatever you need for the simple fact that we do both traditional and we do compound. We do the traditional for the medieval reenactment, and then for many years I worked at Bass Pro Shop and a couple other places as a bow tech, so I put the compound bows together. So I love shooting compound. But going back to what you're saying, down in the woods, a lot of the stuff that we collect out of the woods, like American beauty berries, I collected over 70 pounds of chanterelle mushrooms, blue indigo mushrooms, you name it. We go down into the woods, and if Mother Nature, the morels, if Mother Nature gives it to us, we collect it.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, it's after 10:30 here. So, it's been an absolutely wonderful night. Been very, very interesting. And I sure would like for you guys just to, kind of stay in touch and let everybody know that you haven't fallen off the earth from time to time.
We can do that.
Great.
Show me Coke.
Okay, I'll buy you a Coke. When we are in Texas, we'll go to Jack in the Box.
And we are going to definitely look forward to hopefully meeting up with you folks. If you can't make it to the gathering, then to perhaps a shindig or maybe even the Bayou Bash. So.
Well, I'm hoping to make the shindig this year. We weren't able to make it last year because of a previous obligation that we had that weekend. But we're hoping maybe this year to make it, since we did make Deep South last year, but did make the shindig. We do really want to make the shindig. So
that's definitely on our list, and we'll see about Homesteaders of America over in the fall.
Okay.
So we ended up not getting to make that because of my medical issues.
I was fixing to say we had already volunteered to do the stuff there. We were already set up, had reservations everywhere else, and then with the medical stuff that came up, we unfortunately had to cancel.
Yeah, well, things happen, and of course we all know that and understand that. So I'm just glad that everybody is well and doing better and moving forward. So
thank you.
So next week, folks, we've got a real unique individual that some of you might know, some of you might not know. Some guy down in Tennessee that calls himself Single Dad. Single Dad Homesteading is going to be our guest next week. So, Kat, Grizz, thank you so much. Wave to the folks. Tell them good evening. And
thank y'all for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. If y'all haven't already subscribed to our channel, come on over, take a look. We're always adding new things, and you can't go wrong with us.
And we're going to tell y'all to have a great night, sleep well, have a blessed night, and as always, be safe.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone.